Hello, I'm Tom Bailey, and in today's episode, I'll be getting to know Becky Mollenkamp, who is an ICF certified life coach and is the host of the Gutsy Boss podcast. So, Becky, hello, and a very warm welcome to today's episode.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. And just out of interest for people listening, whereabouts in the world are you right now?
I am in St. Louis, Missouri, in the middle of the US.
Fantastic. And from what I understand, it's super hot over there as well right now.
It's pretty miserable, yes.
Yeah,
We're at the point of summer where we're just over it.
a little too hot. Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you for sharing. And I just want to share a little bit more about you before we do get started. So, having taken a quick look online, I can see that Becky's core values are growth, empowerment, and courage. And with these, she helps women, femmes, and thems to learn how to use self-compassion to boost self-confidence so that they can finally define success on their own terms. The title for today's episode is How to Feel More Confident Without Faking It Till You Make It. And Becky's going to show us how to do that in just 7 minutes. So question number one for you today is, who are your ideal clients?
My ideal clients are people who are faking it till they make it when it comes to confidence.
Yeah.
They're usually the clients I love to work with the most are sort of who I was a decade ago.
Mhm.
They are smart, ambitious women. They're in their 30s. They've accomplished a lot for their age, but they're really getting to that point of burnout. They just don't want to keep chasing their dreams with the hustle and the stress.
Yeah.
But they also don't want to give up on having those big goals. And so they feel really torn. Is it even possible to continue to have success, to continue to achieve without having to burn myself at both ends?
Yeah, got it. And you talked about a lot of different challenges there, but what would you say is the biggest challenge that typically they talk about when they come and start working with you?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is that idea that there are no options,
Yeah.
that really there's only two options, right? Either I do things the way I'm doing it, or I just have to give up on having goals. And they're not willing to give up on having goals because they want to. It feels good.
Yeah.
And so they feel like if they want to go after those goals, that means that they have to keep doing things the way they've been doing it. And they're stuck in this really painful cycle where they set a big goal for themselves because that feels good. And then they hustle really hard until it gets to the point of it being really overwhelming. And then they get hung up in a place of usually either perfectionism or
Mhm.
procrastination. And either way, it's a place where they're feeling really stuck and it's no longer feeling good going after this goal. Eventually, they usually achieve the goal, but when they do, they're disappointed because it doesn't give them the high, the feeling that they thought that it would. And in some cases, because of all that perfectionism, procrastination, and the burnout, sometimes they don't achieve the goal. They give up. And in that case, they usually feel like a failure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess we've covered a lot of the challenges and impacts of these challenges for them. So given that, what would you say is one piece of valuable advice that you might give to somebody to really help them solve this problem and move forward?
And yeah, and I know like I have a minute-ish to answer these
Certainly.
questions. So it's really hard to say like, let's solve this problem in a
Yeah.
minute. But so where I'd want to start is at the beginning of what I do with people,
Yeah.
which is compassion and acceptance. Because usually when people come to me, they're all in a similar place. They have a story in their mind that other people have no problems achieving their goals and finding balance and having joy in the process. So there must be something wrong with them.
Yeah.
They're broken. They need to be fixed because they're the only one who can't seem to figure this magic out, right? And I want to tell people and help people come to a real understanding, internalization, and belief that they're not broken.
Yeah.
You don't need to be fixed. And so to help with that, since I can't really fix this all right now, I will tell you quickly the way I do this work is usually about helping people unpack all of the stories that they've been given, all the conditioning and belief systems they have that have gotten them to that point. We rewrite that narrative. What do you really want this to look like? How do you want to feel? And then we go into a place of like what tools will help you succeed as you go about it, because there will be challenges. But that
Okay.
starting point is the place of acceptance. And so I'm going to give 3 journaling prompts if that's okay,
Yeah, of
because I feel
course.
like that's the best way for me to use this short amount of time.
Mhm.
So what do you believe that you need to fix or improve about yourself? And what makes you believe that? That's
Yeah.
one, just that unpacking of it. Where did that come from? And then asking yourself, when has blaming or shaming yourself created change for you? And if it did, how did it feel?
Yeah.
And if it did, how long did it last? A
Yeah.
little food for thought there. And then finally, ask yourself what might shift if I could accept that there's nothing wrong with me. And I think that's a good starting place anyway for
I think
solving
so
this
too.
problem.
Yeah, I love that. I love those pointers, and I'm sure lots of people get a lot of value out of that. And the next question from me then is, do you have anything that you could give away or point people to so that they can get that resource which really helps them make this start?
Yeah, if you're stuck in that cycle that I was talking about of chasing your dreams in a way that leaves you feeling really awful,
Yeah.
one resource that may be helpful is my Inner Critic workbook, which you can get, like I think you may have mentioned, or you were going to, at
Uh-huh.
beckymollenkamp.com/imposter. And it
Nice.
includes a lot of the tools that I use with my clients for helping them manage imposter syndrome, because to a person, my really ambitious clients wrestle with that voice in their head that tells them they don't know what they're doing, they're not good enough, and pretty soon everyone else is going to figure that out. And so it's a great starting point for learning how to coexist peacefully with that voice.
Yeah, imposter syndrome is huge, and that will really help a lot of people listening to this, I'm sure. So go to beckymollenkamp.com/imposter. I'll drop that link into the show notes as well, so you can dive in and they can download that straight away. So, quick question then for yourself, Becky. You obviously helped lots of people, but along your journey, what would you say is one of your greatest mistakes or failures that you've made either in life or in business, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah. Well, and I don't believe in failure as a concept.
Yeah.
I have made mistakes, and I think what I'm saying then is that I subscribe to the idea that it's only a failure if you don't learn from it.
Yeah.
So I love that you ask, what did I learn? Because everything that's happened to me that at the time felt like a failure, a quote unquote failure, eventually, with enough time, sometimes immediately I saw it, sometimes it took time, but eventually I realized that it was an opportunity for growth. And I welcome failure because I know it means I'm growing. And probably one of the biggest growth lessons that I've had was my first marriage that ended in a divorce. And that period of my life really helped me understand in a way that I never had before how important it is to live a truly authentic life and to not change yourself to fit a mold or to do what you think you or your life should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Great lesson to learn and a great lesson to share with the listeners as well today. So the last question from me then is, what is one question that I should have asked you that also brings some great value to our audience today?
I don't know. That's a good question and a hard one to answer. But
Yeah,
I
I bet.
thought, since it's hard to give a really value packed answer in like 1 minute,
Mhm.
I'm thinking maybe some good book recommendations. Asking me what
Fantastic.
book would have been useful.
Yeah, let's do that. Perfect.
Yeah, so I think I'll share three that I have found really powerful in healing as I've done my own work. Because, like I say, I was my client a decade ago where
Yeah.
I had achieved a lot and felt really crappy. And so some of the books that really helped me free myself from the shoulds and from the hustle culture are Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle,
Hmm.
You Belong by Sebene Selassie, and Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. They're all three books that I like return to and think are amazing resources.
Love that. Thank you so much. And Becky, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much again for your time today. I really appreciate you coming along and sharing such great value in such a short time with our audience.
That was fast. Thank you. That was fun.